And in a few hours' time, it'll go up on 2 on Broadway. And all of them are sold out for months, even years ahead. Let's find out what inspires the man who inspires the crowds. Please, will you welcome Andrew Lloyd Webber. I think we know what inspires you. Cats and trains and women and romance, all these things. What's inspiring you at the moment, then?
Well, at the moment, the cinema, I think. I was very much on the edge with Aspects of Love. It's a very filmic piece. And, of course, a lot's happened to the cinema in the last... well, I mean, I've been working now for over 20 years in the theatre, I hate to say. And I've discovered, of course, that the cinema has come a long way in sound and all those sort of things since that time.
But are you actually saying you're giving up musicals and going into film?
I doubt if I'll write another musical for the theatre for the time being. Because I think in one sense I've gone a long way in theatre. I mean, I've kind of done everything in one sense, from Cats to roller skates, as you say, to something very small like Aspects, and something quite grandiose like The Phantom, to something kind of almost quite political in its day, I think quite, you know, exciting with Evita.
Have you got any tickets for Phantom, by the way, Andrew? I'm wondering if I could get in New York or in England.
We can talk later.
Okay.
We can
All right.
fix that.
You could give him a copy of your book.
Great, which this book is brilliant.
That's a very bad
Let me get
idea.
this well-up paperback. Here, Andrew, please.
Right,
With my blessing.
You give me a couple of
6 tickets
gags,
for Phantom.
and a couple of tickets.
People may think that...
Bit of a deal.
Give it to me. People... a bit later.
She likes it.
We are talking about where you might go next, and whether... We're talking about inspiration, actually. Whether, are you admitting in saying there's not going to be another musical that you've run out of inspiration? You've run out of a tune?
There are lots of things that would be wonderful to do in the theatre, but I think I've suddenly discovered a world of celluloid that I didn't know about. And as I say, that 20 years ago in the cinema, when we first did Superstar, which was, frankly, not a very good movie, it was first shown in Chicago in a cinema in mono with one loudspeaker. Now, everybody at home, by that time, had their own home equipment. I mean, at least we were a bit ahead of that. And it's moved on now. I mean, new things exist.
So what will you make a film about? What will inspire you to make a film?
I don't know.
You mustn't get him to give plots away.
I can't.
No, but I did
Something
hear,
about
I did hear a whisper that you were rather fond of the story, the real-life, true story, of Jessie Matthews.
Oh, yes, but no, what you've heard is a whisper of my wife, Sarah Brightman, making a television movie, or possibly a movie of the life of Jessie Matthews, which I think is an extraordinary subject, but that wouldn't be anything to do with me, because clearly she sang her own songs and she performed some of the best songs of all time.
But you've got then hidden inside you the plot of a movie. You've got one in your head, have you?
I'm thinking, you know, it's been a lot of work that I've done in quite a short period of time. I mean, I've actually written 4 major pieces now, I think, in almost as many years. And so it's possibly just the moment for me just to think, but I'd really love to make a movie of The Phantom, because, I mean, that's something that's been known in the cinema for ages as an idea. It's a sort of continuing thing. The Phantoms of the Opera burst out every time you open the paper.
But some of those pieces of music that have cropped up in your big shows, one, I think, in Aspects, you actually wrote when you were about 11.
One in Aspects, which is the child's song, I mean, sung by Diana, who I think we're going to see tonight. She sings a song I wrote when I was, it was actually when I was 7.
Really?
But it's a song written about a child in the Pyrenees. Well, you know.
When you were 7, what's it like?
I've got the rest of the score, you can try it out.
Oh, okay.
But were you so precocious, Andrew? Did you... No, precocious is not necessarily a pejorative word. I mean, you were a very early developer.
I just like the theatre. I had a little toy theatre at home. We had a kind of converted gramophone turntable in the middle, because I used to like Sunday night at the London Palladium, so I always liked the bit which revolved. So I had to have one of those in the middle. And, I mean, terrible musicals were staged, you know, sort of based on everything from The Importance of Being Earnest to Lady Macbeth. I mean, it was... but it was great fun for me. And my brother used to help me push the characters around, and...
It was your Auntie Vi, really, that got you going, wasn't it?
She was the one who took me to, really, to musical theatre for the first time. And, of course, when I was about sort of 10, I was very lucky that the American musicals of the day were all really still coming to London, because, I mean, they were, you know, a few years behind their American first showing. So I got to see My Fair Lady, sort of very, very early on in its run, and sort of saw Camelot and The Sound of Music and all these things on the first night.
So you had all of that in your head as a young boy. You had lots of sounds of the popular musicals of the day. You had the 60s pop music, because that's when you were living on through.
Even
and you also
perhaps
had
a little earlier.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, and Bill Haley or whoever, Johnny Ray, Dickie Valentine.
Oh, no, not too far now.
But then you had the classical influences at home, because your parents were serious musicians. Do you think that's why?
Well, my dad always used to say to me that, you know, you can never really make any kind of division between music if it's good. I mean, if it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
If it's bad, it's bad. And I know that's a famous Duke Ellington remark. But I always remember one night him saying, you've got to come and listen to this television programme. And it was Oh Boy, and the Shadows were on it. And he said, those boys are the best chamber ensemble I've heard for ages. Now, it may sound silly. He meant it. He was the director of the London College of Music, and he enjoyed all kinds of music. So we never had any barrier in the home at all.
But what I wanted to say was, is that why, do you think, people on occasions accuse you of plagiarism or accuse you of being derivative, and they will cite everybody from Puccini to pop music and say, Andrew Lloyd Webber's copying this, copying that?
But I don't. I mean, I write what I like, and I write what I enjoy, and I mean...
What I'm saying is it's in your head.
Yeah, absolutely. But I enjoy writing anything, really. I mean, I guess aspects of love. Everybody's been saying now, he's clearly gone into straight opera, and this has burned all bridges. I mean, particularly in America, there have been a lot of reviews which have said he's burnt the bridges now about what he's done before. It's a 14-piece orchestra, and it's a real orchestra, and there's hardly any amplification in this and the other. But I've just come back from a week where I've had the best fun in my life. I've been writing with the people who write for Madonna and write for, what was the Bangles. And I mean, why shouldn't I? I mean, I mean, if I want to write a Requiem Mass, and if I want to write Starlight Express, I'm going to write both.
And how marvellous that you can write them
Nobody's going to tell you not to, though, are they, Andy, really?
Well, you never know. You know, the press can, but don't listen to them.
Right, let's pause then for a musical interlude, and let's hear one of your more serious pieces from Aspects of Love. It's called The First Man You Remember, and it's performed tonight by Diana Morrison and Michael Ball.
I want to be the first man you remember. I want to be the last man you forget. I want to be the one you'll always turn to. I want to be the one you won't regret. May I be first to say you look delightful. May I be first to dance you round the floor. The very first to see your face by moonlight.